Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. I'm Simura here, and before I get into the topic of today's video, I just wanted to say thank you so much for everyone who replied to my post in the community section where I was asking you for video ideas or suggestions, and you guys were very generous with your replies. I've got some of the ideas that I had already done before, and if that's the case, you will see me replying to you with the videos that I had already done on the topic, and others were brand new ideas, and they actually might translate into new videos over the upcoming weeks, right? Not the past, obviously. But let's get back into today's topic. And lately, if you've been watching my videos, you probably have seen me use Rose a lot. And when I'm using Rose, I'm using a very specific skin or costume, and that is the Zatanna mod for Rose. This is a mod that was done by Brutal Ace. You can check them out on DeviantArt, Twitter, or Pixiv. And this is a mod that I actually really like a lot because I am a big fan of Zatanna from DC, right? And obviously there's not that much in terms of DC, like fighting games or games in general. There's a big lack of DC gaming in my opinion, but anyways, let's get back into the topic of the video. Obviously Multiverses is coming next, so we'll see how that is gonna shape out. Hope Zatanna is in it. Sorry for rambling a little bit, but let's get back to the point. The point is, this mod actually got me to play a ton of Rose over the previous couple of days, and I've seen a lot of people be really impressed with the skin as well, and it got me thinking about how important costumes and skins are in a fighting game, because obviously there are many different types of fighting game players. Some who are just playing it for the mechanics and they are very competitive, they care about winning or like entering tournament, they are very focused on the competitive element of it, and they don't really care that much about the characters and the stories, the lore, the functions, the whole functions ideology, which I mean, I guess that's fine, but I do think the bigger portion, or at least the biggest portion of the fighting game community, actually do care a lot about the characters that we play, and we do want your character to look cool or to be something that is appealing to you, and costumes are probably the biggest element of that. Now obviously in fighting games in general, I do think there is a big I don't say big deficit in storytelling. A lot of the games have very poor storytelling for their characters. A game like Street Fighter, the character stories or their personalities are kind of all over the place, and in games like Tekken maybe there is a very big focus on the Mishimas if you play like Tekken 7, and the rest of the characters didn't really get fleshed out that much. But the point is, most of the character lore, most of the personalities, most of the coolness, what make you think this character is cool and awesome and you want to play as them, comes down to their movesets, their animation, and how they look, their personality. And costumes are very big, like a very big element to that. Now obviously every character in every game will have a default costume, right? And these skins, they run the range. Some of them are really cool, sometimes they completely miss the mark, and that's where alternate costumes or skins will come into play, and hopefully they can save that character, right? Some characters, for example, like Ed, I very rarely see Ed players using the default Ed costume, but I've seen a lot of Ed players use others, like the Dimitri costume I've seen a lot, and the like the hoodie Ed. That stuff I see all the time. And obviously a lot of people use Hot Ryu, the battle costume Chun-Li. Very rarely would you see actually Chun-Li with a default costume, even though it's an amazing skin. The point is, skins can make the character a lot cooler, and I do think during Street Fighter V, Capcom have kind of realized how important skins are for characters, and we got a ton of costumes in Street Fighter V. Now I know that there is a lot of outcry, I should say, because a lot of people think that costumes are milking the player base, right? Like if Capcom is releasing a lot of costumes, that they are milking the player base. And while I do understand that this is an interesting point of view, because you are paying for cosmetics pretty much and not really additional gameplay content, I do think they are very important. When I moved over to PC, I was blown away by how much more I was enjoying the game. And obviously, yes, PC have many benefits like less input lag, less loading time, a little bit of higher resolution, but one of the things that really I didn't expect to enjoy as much as I did was the mods, because mods open up the costume game immensely. Obviously, if Capcom say have released like 200 costume for Street Fighter 5, like every character, modders have released thousands of costumes, and obviously there are a ton of mods that you have seen me use on this channel. I use mods very often for the characters that I play, whether that is Poison, Rose, Cody, Chun. I mean, you've seen me run the gambit, and obviously PC just by its nature have the virtue of having mod. Unfortunately, the console players don't usually get that benefit, right? They don't get mods, so they are pretty much having to deal with what Capcom gives them in terms of the official skins or costumes, and that's kind of where we stand, right? Some people think they are milking us, some people think it's completely fine. I would like to know your guys' thoughts. Obviously, another issue that I have seen, especially with Street Fighter 5, is the costumes distribution, because some characters, and I know it's a running joke, like Chun-Li gets 90,000 costumes, and obviously that is true to a certain extent, right? Street Fighter 5 is very heavy on the waifu baiting, I should say, where a lot of the female characters get a ton of costumes and get a lot of costumes, especially Chun-Li, I should say, and at this point Yuri as well got a lot. And obviously a lot of the others never really got that much skins. You'd be surprised that a character like Akuma, as popular as Akuma, didn't really get that many costumes, and obviously a lot of people would love to see more Akuma skins. But yeah, I something that I wish in Street Fighter 6 that Capcom would actually address and would give characters, at least the lesser played character or even the not waifus, more skins, because obviously these players deserve to have cool skins as well, right? And maybe this is kind of a wild take, but I actually would love if there is some way that the players on consoles would have the ability to install mods or use mods for consoles. I know this is a very slim chance and it's very unlikely to happen. A lot of the companies actually dislike mods. Thankfully, from what I've seen, Capcom is pretty cool with it, but a lot of companies don't really like it when you mod their games. And I mean, obviously you can see the point, because they do make less money on the skins. Maybe on the other hand they can do more costumes, but I can see why players might dislike that and think of it as baiting. Let me know your thoughts. Where do you stand on costumes and skins, cosmetics in general? Would you like to have customization maybe? But I personally don't love customization that much, because it can get a little bit too all over the place. One of the strongest and best things about mods, in my opinion, is that it's only affecting your end. The other player don't really see that skin, and so you can be as crazy as you want and you won't really negatively affect the other guy. So that's why I kind of don't like customization, but I guess we shall wait and see. What do you think? Would you like to see more costumes? Would you like to see mods for console? Would you like to see Capcom doing more skins for the characters in the future? Let me know your thoughts. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter and Twitch pages in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.
Rose wins.